Do you want to be immune to chaos damage? Have these purple chaos balls ever ruined a run for you? Do you want to do 200k or more DPS? Do you want your bosses to be stun locked and melted? If so, I think I have a build for you. As always, I've linked the Mobalytics in the description. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and let's get into the video. What's going on, guys? Today I've got another milk build for you, and this time I've decided to go more tanky. This is all thanks to a unique item called the Ghost Wraith Tattered Robes that converts half of our maximum life into maximum energy shield. We combine this with Chaos Inoculation, which reduces our max life to 1, but it makes us immune to chaos damage. And then we combine this with Eternal Youth, which is going to let us heal our energy shield by using our life flask. What makes Chaos Inoculation so strong is that you're now immune to chaos damage, which includes poison and bleed. Poison and bleed are classified as chaos in here, so you don't have to worry about being hit by those things anymore in tier 15 maps, so you just have to worry about physical and elemental now. We have our elemental resistances capped out at 75, so we don't have to worry about that type of damage, and we run 50% evasion, so that way we have a nice chance to avoid being hit in the first place. This level of evasion is achieved by using Wind Dancer and a hybrid of energy shield and evasion on our gear. So I'm going to go and give you guys a quick explanation in game of how the build works. So you can see that we currently have 1 life and 5,600 total energy shield. We have our life flask right here, and we can use that, and it's going to start healing our energy shield for us thanks to Eternal Youth. And what we can do is we can run in here, kill some enemies, and they're going to drop these remnants that we can pick up. And these remnants are going to increase our energy shield up to double. This is what makes our energy shield so high. And like I said, thanks to Wind Dancer, we now have nearly 50% evasion. We have our resistances capped out. And of course, we have this big level of energy shield. It's kind of a nice buffer, so we don't have to worry about getting one shot. But what's really neat about the build is that you're completely immune to chaos damage. So you can see these enemies that are throwing these purple projectiles at me. They can't do any damage to me thanks to being immune to chaos damage. The only way that they can do damage is either with melees or if they have excess damage applied through like a Waystone modifier. So one thing that you do need to look for is that there's a mana flask that you can put on that will actually remove 15% of your life that you recover from mana. If you have this on and you use it to recover your mana, it will instantly kill you. I used this in the Breachstone boss fight. I was on the way there and I found out the hard way and completely wasted 300 splinters, so don't make the same mistake that I did. So I'm over here on the Mobalytics page that I made, and I'm going to go ahead and show you guys all the skills and support gems you need to be using. I don't have all the perfect jeweler orbs yet, so I can't show you in-game all the stuff you should be using. On Ice Strike, our main DPS dealer, we need to be running Martial Tempo for more attack speed, Inspiration for less mana cost, this will keep our mana up. Crescendo, that way we can do the Final Strike twice. The Final Strike does more damage and freezes. Concentrated Effect will give us way more damage. And Ice Bite will boost our cold damage for 3 seconds across all of our attacks whenever we freeze an enemy. Unbound Avatar is what we pop to do big boss damage. This is just in your pocket. You save it for either rare enemies or bosses that you need to melt. You're just going to throw a Fire, Cold, and Lightning Mastery in here to level it up. And then Persistence to increase the duration of it. Tempest Bell is what we combo with Ice Strike and Unbound Avatar to melt bosses. You're just going to drop this on the boss head, and we use Overabundance to add a second bell. By the time you drop the first bell and smack it a couple times, you should be able to drop a second bell on top of it and increase your DPS. Soul Thief is going to leech 5% of your attack damage as mana. This will keep your mana up as you're spamming. Rage is going to give you 3 rage on melee hit. This is 3% per hit. Heavy Swing is going to give you more melee physical damage, and Heft is going to do the same thing. Charge Staff is what we use to get a damage boost and also shock enemies, and thanks to skills in the skill tree, we're able to do cold damage with it, so we can use Cold Penetration to penetrate cold resistance, and Cold Exposure to inflict cold exposure on an enemy whenever we crit them. This will make Ice Strike do more damage along with it. Conduction, that way Charge Staff can shock more often. We want Shock so we can proc Herald of Thunder. And Culling Strike, so that way any attacks that we do while Charge Staff is proc that involves our Quarterstaff is going to kill rare and unique enemies earlier. So the way that we chain explosions is with Herald of Ice and Herald of Thunder. Herald of Ice, we have magnified effect for more area effect. Innervate, so that Herald of Ice can do lightning damage whenever we kill a shocked enemy with the skill, and we combo this with lightning infusion so that Herald of Ice itself does lightning damage. This is going to let it chain off itself and proc Innervate. And then Primal Armament goes on here to increase the damage. I had the extra slot, so I went and threw it on there. It does increase the DPS, even though it does state weapon elemental damage. I don't know if that's a visual bug or if it actually does, but it does boost the damage on it. Herald of Thunder, we have Long Shot on here because since it's going to be chaining so far from you, you want that attack boost. Ambush, that way we can have a higher crit hit chance. Glaciation, so that Herald of Thunder can cause freeze buildup. This is thanks to skills on the passive skill tree that will add cold damage to all of your attacks. So Herald of Thunder will be able to freeze, and that's going to help proc Herald of Ice, which helps proc Herald of Thunder. They just chain off each other and makes the explosions awesome to watch. Combat Frenzy is how we're generating our charges. All that it does is whenever we freeze or electrocute or pin an enemy, we're going to generate a frenzy charge. We then have resonance on the passive skill tree, which will then convert that frenzy charge into a power charge. Perfusion, that way we have a higher chance to gain additional charges. Grim Feast is what we're using to double our energy shield. You can run Clarity if you happen to have enough spirit. I don't happen to have enough spirit, so it's up to you. And Wave of Frost is thrown on here just kind of as an extra. I had a slot to fill with it, and it's a nice panic button if you have some enemies in you that you just need to freeze. It's nice for kind of freezing enemies from a distance, like a big rare that has like an explosion bubble or something, or a slowing effect. Go ahead and freeze them with this before you go in with Ice Strike, and it should help you out a little bit. And you're just going to run Deep Freeze for longer freeze duration, and Frost Nexus, that way it'll create a chilled ground whenever you freeze an enemy. So I just realized that I forgot to put Wind Dancer on the Mobalytics, so it's now in there and updated, and you're just going to run Pin, Blind, and Maim. This is necessary for increasing your evasion, so make sure that you have this. So I'm going to go ahead and break down the passive skill tree, and on the Ascendancy tree, make sure you grab Unbound Avatar, and I am the Blizzard. This is going to add cold damage to all of your attacks. And for now I'm grabbing I am the Thunder, but if you have the last two Ascendancy points, feel free to get Sunder My Enemies and this node, or grab some extra evasion and energy shield here. Try to pick up as many of these nodes that are going to give you evasion rating and maximum energy shield, like right here and right here. These nodes over here for huge for getting your energy shield up. You got 30% here, 18% with some mana and intelligence, 40% here. Asceticism is huge for increasing your stun threshold, because your stun threshold is based off of at least partially your HP. So since we're at 1 HP, I found myself getting stun locked a whole lot until I put this skill on. So now it's based off of our energy shield rather than being based off our life. This is going to prevent you from getting stun locked and froze lock. These two nodes I pick up for big damage boost because we're going to be chilling and shocking all the time. So this is a nice 60% damage boost just off these two nodes right here. Right now, I have a 30% crit chance with Ice Strike, so this is all thanks to these nodes right here boosting our damage. You're going to be hitting crits pretty often, so picking up any nodes that are going to boost your crit hit or crit hit chance are huge for increasing your DPS. Make sure you pick up Resonance. This is what makes Combat Frenzy work. I like to go for jewel slots that are going to allow me to increase my cold damage or my maximum energy shield, quarterstaff damage, attack speed, crit hit chance, anything that you can fit in here. I know good jewels are really expensive, so kind of get what you can fit in there. This node is super important because currently, whenever you're at 1 HP thanks to Chaos Inoculation, it considers you on low life and full life at the same time, so we actually get both boost off of this node, so it's an 80% damage increase just with this. Attack speed is huge for ringing that bell a whole lot, so going for tenfold attacks here, or maneuvering your way up here to Deep Trance is really nice. And if you can anoint your amulet with anything, I would probably go down here to Falcon Technique, or any other node that boosts your attack speed. We got more crit damage and crit hit chance thanks to these nodes right here and these nodes right here. This one's really important. It increases your base attack crit hit chance by 1%. I think quarterstaff, it's a base of 8. Now it'll be a base of 9. This will make it much easier to crit. Try to grab this node as well right here if you have the extra skill points. I still have 11 that I have to get. If you don't have enough spirit, you can grab these nodes right here to reduce the reservation of the skills. This will make them cheaper to run. And then you're also going to be grabbing this one right here to increase your damage of whatever element based on what Herald is currently procced. So more cold damage, more lightning damage. We're doing this all the time, so this effect is happening pretty often. I like to grab this node here for the crit damage bonus, but most importantly, the dexterity. And then attack speed and knocking back enemies. And this is some freeze buildup. And then this one's huge because you get 30% increased defenses. This includes your evasion and your energy shield. So make sure you grab this node. Of course, we got Eternal Youth right here. This is what lets us heal our energy shield with our life flask. I'm grabbing Thin Ice here because you do 50% increased damage with hits against frozen enemies. So whenever you're bossing and you freeze them, you're going to do 50% increased damage thanks to this skill. I also grab this skill right here for more crit hit chance. Of course, Chaos Inoculation. This is what we're using. Get a skill gem right here with more energy shield and freeze buildup. This node right here is going to give you the biggest boost to energy shield. You don't have to worry about the start of energy shield recharge because we don't recharge energy shield passively. We do it with our life flask or by picking up Grim Remnants. I'm currently grabbing this node and I'm grabbing the intelligence boost. Things that you could possibly shoot for, like I said, Falcon Technique. If you want to shoot for some bonus evasion, you can go for Bestial Skin or Enhanced Reflexes right here. I've considered going for First Approach before because they give you really big boost to your hits on enemies that are full life. I haven't toyed around with it yet because I don't have the skill points, but this could be really nice for mapping, like completely one-shotting rare enemies. You could also come down this way and grab this jewel slot and then get that if you have the skill points. This node right here also could be useful. You get more damage against rare and uniques and crit chances. I'll probably come down here to Step Like Mist just to boost my movement speed, my mana regen, and my dex and intelligence. There's a couple more nodes around here that you could grab if you wanted some more freeze buildup to freeze more often. There's this node up here for evasion rating and energy shield that you can grab. There's this one that will increase your freeze buildup and let you ignore elemental resistances of frozen enemies. So if an enemy is, let's say, frost resistant and you freeze them, you're now going to be able to do maximum damage. You won't have any damage penalty on that enemy. There are some builds that you can do with Eldritch Battery. I haven't toyed around with it. This is a bit too complicated to get to on the monk because you have to come all the way over here for Mind Over Matter. But I'm sure it's possible if you toyed around enough. Maybe I'll get to it at some point. You could also go with Spectral Ward right here to get some more bonus energy shield. And these nodes right here are nice to pick up for that extra energy shield and evasion. The goal here is to get at least 50% evasion and increase your energy shield as high as possible. Make sure your resistances are capped out. And you really shouldn't have to worry about anything at all. Your damage is pretty solid. Your defenses are pretty solid. So you really shouldn't have any problem mapping anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and break down some of the gear that you should be running. The most important besides the chest piece is the quarterstaff. You should be going for high physical damage on here. This is because Ice Strike converts 80% of your physical damage into cold damage. You're also going to want to go for levels of melee skill here to increase your DPS. Go for attack speed and crit damage bonus if you can. If you're struggling to keep your mana up, I would go for maybe mana on kill or mana on hit. On your gauntlet, let's go for added lightning damage. That way you can shock more often. Go for level of melee skill, attack speed, crit damage bonuses, and resistances that you need to fill out. If you have any gear that has maximum life increase, they're not useless, even though we have 1 HP. Any bonuses applied to life once you have 1 HP is now instead applied to your energy shield, so it's not a wasted stat. On your belt, let's go for 20% of flash recovery applied instantly. That way you have a panic button. If you hit your life flask, it's going to instantly apply 20% of its value to your energy shield. Get any of your strength, dex, or intelligence bonuses filled out here. Go for resistances. Boots, you're going to want movement speed so you can map faster and dodge attacks. Go for your stat boost that you need, like intelligence, dex, strength. Go for your resistances, max life, max mana. We got our unique here, which is helping fuel the build. You need this right here, so don't swap this out for anything. On the helmet, we're going to have stat boost, resistances, max life, max mana. Go for his high energy shield and evasion here. You could go for pure energy shield if you wanted to. I just like sitting near the 50% mark. Amulet, I wouldn't get one that has plus 12 strength like mine. I didn't really have an option for what I was finding on the market, so I went with this, but try to get one that's either going to give you mana regeneration rate, rarity increases, additional intelligence or dex, plus all attributes or bonus spirit. Besides that, go for maximum energy shield, increase maximum energy shield, bonus spirit, some level of melee skills, resistances, and mana regeneration rate. You could also go crit hit chance here to increase your crits. I'm running Pulse Circone. It's not mandatory. I just really like this rank. It helps you get those shatters a little bit easier. But if you're lacking in damage, or if you're lacking in your resistances or anything like that, you can fill those out here. And the other ring, I'm just using to fill out resistances, boosting my cold damage, increasing my rarity drops, my mana regeneration, and my resistances that I need. I also have added lightning damage here. This is just another level of making sure I have shock happening. I run the Thawing Charm because you're not getting stunned, and the only thing that I have found that has locked me up now with this build is getting frozen. So you can either increase your freeze threshold on the skill tree, or you could throw this charm on here. If you have a belt with two slots, you could do 2 different ones on here, and then just run a life flask that has a whole lot of life applied. And on your mana flask, like I said, make sure you don't take one that removes 15% of life recovered, because it's going to instant kill you. So that's going to be it for the video, and I really appreciate you guys watching, and I just want to say thank you for all the support you guys have given me here recently. I never expected that these would take off the way that they did. Most of my videos that I'd done before, way back in the day, got no more than like 20 views. So the fact that these are doing anywhere near what they're doing makes me incredibly happy, and I can't thank you guys enough. So continue to leave comments. I'll get back to them. I try to respond to every single one, positive or negative, and I also stream all the time on Twitch, same as my YouTube handle. It's FGCorbin21. Feel free to drop by if you have any issues or if you have any questions. I'll be happy to answer them and help you guys figure out what's going on. I hope you guys had a happy new year, and I'll have some more stuff for you guys here soon. Work's about to start back up because the new year's over and kind of breaks over, so my content isn't going to be daily anymore, but I'll try to get you guys as much as I can, as often as I can. So I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.